Hi guys, welcome to our first video notes for the school year. So a couple things I forgot to mention during class was that you do actually need to take notes on these videos, just like we would be sitting in class and taking notes in class. So if you prefer to use a spiral notebook, that's fine. Or if you prefer to use loose leaf paper and just keep them all in a 3-ring binder, that's also okay. But you should be taking notes every day on these videos, and you should be keeping those notes so that you have something to study from. When you're taking your notes, you want to make sure on your piece of paper that you're writing down the title for today. Today's title is 1-1, Patterns and Expressions. Okay, so you're going to write that down. And then we'll start by watching our first video. And so you're going to take notes on the first video on this piece of paper. When you start watching the second video for the day, you're going to take notes on the same piece of paper because it's still considered one day. So you're going to have video 1 is up here. And then when you watch video 2, you'll take notes down here. So it's all considered one page. Okay, so just a little clarification before we get started. So pause the video, take out that paper and pencil, and then write down the title, and we'll get started. In our first video for today, we're just going to learn some basic vocabulary. These are vocabulary words that I'm going to use often in class, and so I want to make sure that you understand what they mean when I'm using them. Our first vocabulary word is constant. A constant is a quantity whose value does not change. That's basically just a number. So for instance, an example of a constant would be the number 5. The number 5 is always the number 5. It's always referring to the same amount of stuff, 5 things. So it is constant. Don't forget, if you need to pause the video and write this down on your paper, feel free to pause and then restart when you're ready. Our next vocabulary word is the word variable. Variable is like the whole reason why algebra class was invented. A variable is a symbol, usually a letter, that represents one or more numbers. That means that the number can vary. So when you think about the letter x in algebra class, sometimes x equals 5, sometimes it equals 10, sometimes it equals -1/2. The amount varies depending on the problem. That's why it's called a variable. Here are our most common variables that we use. The letter x is very common in algebra class. And then we also like to use the letter n because n stands for number. Don't forget to pause the video and write this down on your paper. Our next vocabulary word is coefficient. Again, these vocabulary words are words that I'm going to use very often in class. So you want to make sure that you understand them so that when I say coefficient, you know what I'm talking about. A coefficient is a number that's being multiplied by a variable. Coefficients are usually found in front of variables. Here's an example that utilizes all 3 of our first vocabulary words. In this example, 3 is a coefficient because it's being multiplied with the letter x. And x would be our variable. And then finally, that number 5 that's being added at the end, that's a constant because it will always be the number 5. All right. Our next vocabulary phrase is numerical expression. This is a mathematical phrase that contains only numbers and operation symbols, and there will be no equal sign. So the word expression is telling us that there's not going to be an equal sign. And then the word numerical means there's only going to be numbers and there will not be any variables. And so here are some examples of numerical expressions. When we are given a numerical expression, we can be asked to simplify it. We simplify expressions. And our final vocabulary phrase for today is algebraic expression. An algebraic expression, similar to a numeric expression, is a mathematical phrase that contains one or more variables. And again, there will not be an equal sign. That's what the word expression means. Expression means no equal sign. These are also things that we can simplify. We simplify expressions. Later this chapter, we will learn about solving equations. That's different. All right, guys, I think that's it for this video. Make sure that you wrote down all of this stuff in your notes, video 1 notes, and just to make sure that we're all clear, and I typed this in the directions, but there are no book problems assigned to this video. This was just an informative video that you were supposed to take notes on. All right, I'll see you in our next video.